everyone, as promised, here's my presentation about mindset, conversations that lead to learning. I divided this session into two. The first one is the power of the right mindset, and then the second one would be the practical applications of the concept. And then before I go, I will just leave you with some thoughts to ponder. So let's start. Mindset. What is mindset? What's the first thing that comes into your mind when you hear the word mindset? If you're going to ask Google, the definition that you'll see is that it's an established set of attitudes held by someone. Now, thinking about this definition, it sends me a message that mindset is something that's stable because it is established, and it also implies that it goes through a certain process, because before something becomes established, a process has to happen. And briefly, this process would include our daily conversations, our experiences, and our interactions with people. That leads to a formation of a certain belief or attitude. And then this will lead to the choices that we make or the way we behave. And then it goes like a cycle. Okay. The second definition of what mindset is that it's a person's way of thinking and their opinion and their opinions. And what I like about the second definition is the word opinion, because I think opinion means I have the ability to alter or to change it. And this belief in change is what Dr. Carol Dweck discovered in her studies related to motivation, learning, and failure. She said, I always thought you cope with failure or you didn't cope with failure. I never thought anyone loved failure. She met students, children who embraced failure, who loved challenges. So this became her inspiration to continuously conduct research to understand the kind of mindset that could turn failure into a gift. And the results of this are what we call the fixed and the growth mindset. So what is fixed mindset? Fixed mindset is the belief that intelligence or abilities are fixed. It's either you have it or you don't. And a lot of times, it becomes a very good excuse to say when we are having a difficulty or doing something to the point that we avoid doing it already. Okay? We hear this a lot from our students or children whenever they say, I'm not good in math. So, they wouldn't like to study math, or I'm not artistic, or I'm not a singer, so they don't like to sing. Okay? Or they say, parehong kaliwayan pa ako, so they don't like to dance. For me, as a personal experience, I hear this from my daughter whenever she would say, I don't like to read. And then when I probe, she'd say, it's difficult. And then I do not understand. Then towards the end of the conversation, she said, I'm bad in reading. Now, when we are faced with this kind of situation, what do we do? What do we do as a parent, as a teacher? Imagine a mindset is a way of thinking. And it influences the choices that we make, the actions that we do. How can we foster new learning? This is where the power of growth mindset can help. Ano nga ba yung growth mindset? Okay. What is growth mindset? Growth mindset is the belief that people can cultivate and develop their abilities. Okay? It is based on the belief in change. It's saying us that what we have right now, our abilities, our intelligence, or our talents are just starting point to what we can do. It's just a starting point of our full potential. Um, it gives emphasis on the effort, the matter of finding right strategies that will work so that it will provide desirable outcomes. Okay. Now, fixed mindset and growth mindset. What's the difference between these two in terms of how they handle challenges and obstacles, in terms of the effort they give, in terms of how they handle criticism, and in terms of how they view other people's success? This slide gives us a very good summary of it. In terms of challenges, people with fixed mindset, they tend to avoid it, usually because they think they don't have the skill, so they don't like to do it anymore. Or sometimes it's also because there's a huge fear of failing because of their belief that they lack the skill. So now, for the times that they try and then they get to receive a feedback that is not favorable, a fixed mindset person tends to blame other people or tends to become defensive. They take it too personal. In relation to success of other people, people of a fixed mindset, they see successful people as a threat, not as people that they can collaborate with. Now, people in the growth mindset, it's the opposite. They like challenges, they like obstacles because it leads to learning, and they put an effort to know something that they don't know yet. Okay. And when they receive a feedback, uh, when they failed into something, for example, they want to know. They want to know what went wrong and how can they do it better next time. So it's like every step is a learning opportunity. Let's go to some practical applications of these concepts and try to see how we can promote a growth mindset, environment, or atmosphere for our children. So the first question is, how are mindsets formed? No? Um, where is it from? It's actually from the way we express our comments or the way we give praises when success happens. Let's look into these three. Okay, let's go in the first one. This is fantastic work. You are really talented. The credit goes to the talent, not to the effort that the person had given that led to the work being fantastic, right? Second one, you nailed your speech. You sounded so natural. So does it mean that if I didn't sound natural, hindi na ganun kaganda yung speech ko? Or the third one, this is great. You've done a lot in a short amount of time. So kung mas matagal ko ba siyang ginawa, hindi na great? Now let's go into how we react to setbacks or failures. What are the usual things that we get to say? Okay. You'll always be the best for me. You deserve the win. We'll get it next time. It's okay. There are other things that you're good at. Okay. Reading this, they sound positive, right? But what could be a subliminal message to these statements? You will always be the best for me. Yes, we love our kids, without a doubt. But they may not always be the best because there are children who could do better. Being the best and being loved are not cause and effect. But sometimes this is the message that we get to send to the children. We get to send to them. So they get to think that If they are the best, they are loved, and that is sad, right? Second, you deserve to win. We'll get it next time. For me, it sounds like I'm grooming a child to be entitled of something. People deserve to win when they give their best to win, and they really outperformed everyone else. And that's why champions cry whenever they win, because of the amount of effort that they put it in there, and they did a um, job well done, right? Now, the third one, it's okay. There are other things that you're good at. So it's like we're refocusing them to focus on the other things that they're good at, which is good. But what could be a subliminal message there? Uh, it's also like saying or confirming that they're not good at it. Kaya iba na lang yung gawin mo. Now, let's go into the words that can encourage a growth mindset. I have written here 5 ways to promote uh, growth and a love for learning. First one is to be mindful. No? We should be mindful with what we say, what we do, with how we react, with the message that we send. No? We should be sending messages that is not judging, but encouraging learning. So, what can we say? We can say it's never too late to learn, or we can say this is just a starting point of your potential. And now, more than this really nice words that we carefully think of to say to our kids, um, the non-verbal cues that goes with it says a lot. No? Like your facial reaction, your tone of voice, they hear it. You know, when these two things are not in sync, they get to hear the message of the non-verbal cues more than what you are saying. I'll give you an example. Whenever I would get to teach my child, minsan na-frustrate na ako, and then she would tell me, "Mom, why are you mad?" And then I'll tell her, "No, I'm not mad." And then she'd tell me, "No, you are mad." And when I do my quick emotional check, she's actually right. You know, my frustrations are showing. Maybe trying to think of ways how to say it in the very best words that I could think of. But then my non-verbal cues are not in sync with what I'm saying. So she's getting that message. So I have to, I have to pause. You know, I have to breathe, and I have to acknowledge it. Another another way to promote a growth mindset is to focus on the process that led to the positive outcome. So ito na yung praise the effort, not the talent. What can we say to them? Some examples. Um, that gave the results we wanted. What strategies did you use that led to it? Or we can say, I love the way you explored on the different methods to solve this experiment. It worked. Can you tell me more about it? So, I know you find math really hard, but it's admiring to see how much effort you put in to understand it, and it reflects your improvement. So, these statements, they focus on the processes, they focus on the strategies, they focus on the things they did, no? Kung ano yung ginawa nila to achieve the success or to achieve a desirable outcome. Now, let's go on the third way in promoting a growth mindset in relation to what if they fail, or what if the outcome is not successful. what do? We focus on what went wrong and how to correct it. Okay. So, what are some things that we can say? We can say, I saw how much effort you put in doing it, but I'm curious to know which part I can help you understand it better. Or you can also say, it's really hard to fail in doing something, but let me give you another perspective. You know, failure is a gift because it gives you opportunities to learn something you never knew before. Or or you can ask, what mistake did you make that led you to learn something new today? Okay? So this statements or these questions gives us an environment saying that it's okay to make a mistake, it's okay to fail because we can learn something from it. So whether the outcome is successful or not, um, in giving the praises for a job well done or for a work or giving a comment for a work that needs to be repeated, what we should focus on is on the process that led to it. Okay, so fourth one, focus on expanding skills and knowledge. So here, what we should be focusing on is the progression, mm, um, the process of gaining more knowledge. Okay. So, what can we say? We can say some things like go through it. Small increments of progress daily will lead to something great. Or we can say, um, this one I told my daughter, sabi ko sa kanya, reading, it could really be tough at times. Sometimes there are big words that are really difficult to understand. But what do you think about using this strategy? Learning new words daily, its meanings, and then how to use it. Okay. Now, this one, I can tie it to the next and the last step on how we can promote growth mindset environment or atmosphere. Okay, so how to promote a growth mindset? Fifth, set the right standards but provide tools to reach it. You know, um, if you're going to set the standards low, what we are advocating is a work na mediocre. But if we put it naman too high and then we don't give them the tools how to get there, it will lead to frustration. So what do we do? As a teacher or as a parent? Okay. This is where scaffolding would take place. This is the time that we need to equip them with proper tools that will help them get to the goal that we have in mind. So here are some things that you can say. The book report is due by the end of the quarter. I'm wondering, when can we schedule some planning session on how we can go about it? Okay. Minsan, the problem really lies in not on the intelligence, not unless the person is really diagnosed to be challenged in that area, right? But sometimes the problem lies on the study skills. So we give them the tool, we help them improve on study skills. Okay, what else can we do? Or we can say, I appreciate it when you ask me a question. It helps me to know how can I be of help to you better. How can I be of help to you better so we can achieve our goal? Okay, so it's like getting to know what's in the mind of your other child. What help does she need? Okay, so you can help her or you can help him better. Okay, now with everything that I've said, um, it could give a feeling of overwhelm. It could give a feeling that it's overwhelming. Parang ang hirap ng isipin kung ano yung tamang sabihin. Okay. Now, I'll share with you two words. The first one is what Dr. Dweck said as the power of yet. Adding yet to every statement, to every negative statement, gives us that atmosphere or that feeling that it's a journey. No? It's like when you travel, diba? When you're in the car and then the kids will say, "Are we there yet?" Oh. So they know that there's a destination. It's just that we're not there yet. Okay. So instead of saying I can't, so when they say I can't do this, dagdag nyo, no? I can't do this yet. No? I'm not good at this yet. And it gives them a feeling that not now, but they will. No? Just give also the effort and the commitment to improve. Now, the other word is the word get. Okay. The word I get to. Okay. Changing your have tos or need tos to get to is something very powerful. It changes our perspective from being passive participant, na parang you have to do something, no, to being an active one, that you get to do something. It's like it gives you that psychological conditioning that you are taking on action and that you are not a victim. So imagine yourself from saying, I have to tutor my child, I need to study with them, to I get to I get to tutor my child, I get to study with my child, from I have to learn how to navigate Zoom to I get to learn how to navigate Zoom. It instantly changes the perspective of of, of the perspective that we have in mind. Okay? So to tie the session, I'll just give some final tips on how we can create a safe and learning space that's healthy. The first tip is to evaluate your own belief and your own mindset. It really starts with us, as teachers, as parents, and it takes so much self-awareness to know what are your trigger points. When is it that you are reacting with a fixed mindset? When is it that you are fostering a growth mindset? Second one is to prepare a safe learning environment. We have to keep in mind that our learning environment should be like a science laboratory, right? That it's safe to make mistakes, that mistakes are taken as a data, that it's recorded to see and to evaluate what went wrong, why it didn't work, and that we can always keep on repeating until we get it, until we learn it. The third one is to create goals with your child. It's actually easier that we create the goals and we tell our children what the goals are. The same thing with the students, right? The teacher has a goal, just tell it to the student what's the goal. But creating goals with the child gives them a sense of ownership, and it gives them that sense of responsibility in achieving those goals too. And the last one is to establish a good relationship. Good relationships, it will be the best ones that leads to learning. Isn't it Establishing a rapport is always the first step in everything. So it's the same thing in fostering a safe learning space. We have to have a good relationship with our child, with our students. So that's the end of my presentation. And before I go, I would just like to leave you with this question. That's my daughter. She's 6 years old. Okay. Um, this is the setup of what we have right now. A new platform of learning. Try to think about what are your own personal fears as we face this new platform of learning. What are your reactions? Does it trigger a fixed mindset? If it does, what are you doing? How are you managing about it? And once you get to realize what these are, maybe it will help you create an environment, foster an environment wherein children will learn and will grow and develop. So, there, thank you very much for watching this, and I hope you learned something from this presentation.